Welcome back, everyone. This is Eric Glazer with the crew, and this is your Sharp Squares podcast for week 3 of the NFL season 2025-26. Last week, our Sharps were only 45.5% against the number in aggregate. We managed to go 2-1 in 3-1, but only earned 3 of the 6 points, losing our goal game. In pick 5, we were less effective, going 2-3. All right, not the start we wanted to the season, but maybe we bust out. Maybe this is the week things start going our way. So let's get right to all of the picks. And to provide you with that important information is everyone's favorite fellow degenerate, the Greg Roth.
Eric, thank you so much. It's great to see you, Professor. Also, of course, the ambassador. Great to join you. There are 8 medal games. 8. A season record. I don't know that we had, guys, 8 medal games in any episode last year. It certainly would have been too many games to have last year and perhaps too many this week. Nevertheless, there are 2 gold games. There are no silver games, and there are 6 bronze games. The gold games, the top-rated game, the pick is the Cincinnati Bengals. They're plus 3.5. They're in Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Chris Raybon, Rob Pizzola, Will Hill, the whale capper, Andy Mulder, and Ross Tucker all pick Cincinnati. Marco D'Angelo did pick the Vikings. The second gold game. The pick. It's the Los Angeles Rams. They're plus 3.5 in Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Steve Fezzik, RJ Bell, and Stuckey all picked the Rams. The Favorites podcast, which is Simon Hunter and Chad Millman, they took the Eagles. No silver games. 6 bronze games. The number 1 rated bronze game. The pick they covered for us last week. The New England Patriots. They're plus 1.5, a home dog, welcoming the Pittsburgh Steelers to New England. Gianni the Greek, Chad Millman and Simon Hunter, Cleve TA, Rob Pizzola, Jeff Schwartz, and Mike Renner all picked the Patriots. Nobody picked Pittsburgh. The second rated bronze game. I know some people in our Discord community are not going to like this pick, but it's the New York Jets. They're plus 6.5, traveling to Florida, Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. Ross Tucker, Steve Fezzik, Adam Chernoff, Cleve TA, Stuckey, all picked New York. Fabian Summer and Mike Renner in dissent did take Tampa Bay. The third rated bronze game. Also, maybe not a favorite in the Discord community. Not one of my favorites. I know, Professor, one of your favorites. Cam Ward, certainly one of my favorites. The pick, the Tennessee Titans, for the second week in a row. They didn't cover for us last week. Plus 4.5. They're at home taking on the Indianapolis Colts, 2-0, of course. I think this is a fade on that. Are the Colts really going to go 3-0? I guess we'll find out in the handicapping highlights. Gil Alexander, Jeff Schwartz, and Chris Raybon all took Tennessee. Chad Millman, Joe Osborne, and Josh Inglis did pick the Colts in dissent. The fourth rated bronze game. The pick, another dog. It's the Cleveland Browns. They're plus 7.5. Welcoming the Green Bay Packers to Cleveland. Steve Fezzik, Kelly Stewart, and Stuckey all picked Cleveland. Nobody picked Green Bay. The fifth rated bronze game. The pick's the Houston Texans. They're plus 2.5 in Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. Whale Capper, Jeff Schwartz, Chris Raybon all picked Houston. Adam Chernoff was the lone dissenter on Jacksonville. The last but not least medal game, bronze, the pick, the Dallas Cowboys. They're plus 1.5 in Chicago to take on the Bears. Adam Chernoff and Mike Renner picked Dallas. Nobody picked Chicago. So let me recap. Gold are the Bengals plus 3.5, the Rams plus 3.5. Bronze, no silver, bronze, Patriots plus 1.5, Jets plus 6.5, Titans plus 4.5, Browns plus 7.5, Texans plus 2.5, Cowboys plus 1.5. All of those are bronze games. Pick 5 and 3-2-1, very easy this week. Our top 5 rated games are going to be our pick 5 games: Bengals, Rams, Patriots, Jets, and Titans. 3, 2, 1. The lines don't change, our picks don't change. Bengals are 3, Rams are 2, Patriots are 1. If that's all you were looking for, you are now dismissed. Eric's in a security line in the airport, so I get to do this transition. But we have some great trends and handicapping highlights upcoming if you want to stick around. And to start off, for the first time this season, his season debut. Welcome, Professor.
Yeah, I'm excited to share a trend that actually backs the Titans here. One of our picks this week. When a team wins outright as a home dog, and that would be the Colts last week, and then they're a road favorite of 3 or more in the following week, the teams in that situation are only 5-17 against the spread, 22%. So like I said, this applies to the Colts. Hopefully the Titans are sitting pretty with that trend.
And now here's a trend that applies to another of our picks. It applies against our pick. This is the Fly Eagles Fly trend. Over the last 6 years, coming off a win and then favored at home by 3.5 to 6.5 points, the Eagles are 12-1 against the spread. That's 92.31%. I didn't think much of that trend when I saw it was 92.3%, but then I noticed it was 92.31%, and I really hopped on board. Source for that trend was ATS Stats. That's at ATS Stats on Twitter.
Road favorites after the Chargers win on Thursday Night Football. Road favorites are now 10-2 straight up this season and 90-32 straight up. That's 73% since the start of last season. That's from Evan Abrams' Action Network. The 2 losses this year in that 10-2 straight up, the Broncos' brutal leverage penalty versus the Colts last week, and the Ravens, I don't know what you would call it, soiling the bed is what's written here. I could think of a few things against Buffalo in week 1. We also have a trend for bigger favorites. NFL closing favorites of 4 points or more are 12-0 this season. I think that's straight up. Those teams are 64-7 straight up, 90% since week 13 of last year. Let me repeat that: 64-7 straight up, 90% favorites of 4 or more points. We have some of those dogs this week, by the way. In that same span, favorites of 6 or more are 47-4. That goes up to 92%. That's all from Evan Abrams at Action Network.
And I'm going to jump back in since I missed my second trend. We've got some general trends for you. The favorites are 23-9 straight up so far this year. That's 72%. And 17-15 against the spread, a little bit over 500. Road teams are 18-13 against the spread. Good, but not great. Teams getting more than 50% of the bets are 10-22 against the spread, so don't follow the money, I guess. And unders, week 1 were 12-4, but week 2, 6-10. Make of that what you will for week 3. Our first game is our first gold game, the Bengals plus 3.5 at the Vikings. The pick is the Bengals. And Vikings injury issues create value on Bengals, according to some sharps. Rob Pizzola says the Bengals should be favored, and the Vikings quarterback situation is uncertain, of course. Even the Minnesota secondary is weakened, and the Bengals offensive line is solid. Will Hill says the Vikings injury report is brutal across all position groups. And the Bengals with Browning are serviceable, and O'Connell's coaching edge is overstated. Chris Raybon says the Vikings are banged up, but the market is inflating O'Connell's quarterback reputation as a quarterback whisperer, I guess. Wentz is a historically bad quarterback against the spread. Consensus takeaway from these guys: multiple sharps agree the Bengals are undervalued due to Vikings' widespread injuries and overrating of O'Connell and Wentz. That's the strongest pro-Bengals theme. There's going to be an interesting quarterback battle with Browning against Wentz, both backups. Chris Raybon says Browning can handle the blitz-heavy Flores defense. Wentz offers no upgrade, short prep time. Ross Tucker prefers Browning. He's been in the system for 3 years over Wentz, who is new to the Vikings. He would have bet bigger at plus 3.5. And finally, there are some defensive concerns that point to higher scoring. Todd Wishnev bets the over 42.5. He calls the Bengals defense Swiss cheese and doesn't trust either defense for that matter. Expects both sides to score regardless of quarterback play. Timestamps, Action Network 29 minutes 18 seconds, beating the book 21 minutes and 16 seconds, Forward Progress 21 minutes and 19 seconds, Even Money 22 minutes 56 seconds, and Deep Dive 30 minutes 32 seconds.
Thank you, Dave. Our second gold game is the Rams plus 3.5 against the Eagles. The Rams, one of the themes, the Rams are undervalued as road dogs here. Stuckey believes that the Eagles defense is pretty average by the metrics, which seems to be a consensus among many of the sharps this week, and we'll hear some more of that here coming up. The Rams are generating pressure without blitzing. Their offense looks like they're in strong form, despite Stafford missing a big part of training camp. There's the revenge angle that the Rams nearly upset the Eagles last year in Philadelphia, and the Eagles play conservative of late, which favors the dog covering spreads. Rapazola thinks that it's a high-scoring game potentially. There's a consensus takeaway that the Rams are viewed as live road dogs with matchup edges and history under McVay supporting against the spread value. The Eagles' offense and the defensive regression. In the Action Network, Stuckey believes that the Eagles' offense has regressed under their new offensive coordinator. Steve Fezzik from the Dream Preview has the Rams at 3.5, plus 3.5 is his best bet. He cites the YPP efficiency. The Rams are +2, while the Eagles are -1. And also noted that the Rams wide receiving duo this year has been producing at elite levels. You also have the market in the situational context. Stuckey sees the Rams are historically strong as East Coast road dogs, and they likely stayed out east after playing the Titans this past week. And Fezzik has the Rams as underrated by market, and getting 3.5 points on that is massive, according to him. Some of the consensus themes: the Rams are undervalued as road dogs. McVay's trend supports the ATS value. The Eagles' offense and the defense are downgraded from their 2024 form, and the market's just lagging behind there. The consensus takeaway, though, the Rams at plus 3.5 is the sharp side with multiple best bets from our sharps. Timestamps, Action Network, 37 minutes, 18 seconds, and the Dream Preview, 13 minutes and 3 seconds. And that's it for us this week. Just a reminder, we are by no means sharp, but this is your Sharp Squares podcast.
Good luck out there.